Hello friends, this video on squares and square roots part 3 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So now let's talk about properties of perfect squares. Now these perfect squares also exhibit some special properties. They also show some special patterns. So let's talk about their properties. The first property is if a number ends in 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9, then it must be a perfect square. So any number which ends in one of these digits 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9, that number will be a perfect square. So let us look at the perfect squares of the first 10 natural numbers like 1 square, 2 square, 3 square and so on. So when you look at these perfect squares, did you observe something? That all of these numbers have either 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. At their units place. Like here it is 1, here it is 4, here it is 9, here it is 6, 5, 6, 9, 4, 1, 0. So do you have any such perfect square where the number ends in 3? No. Do you have any perfect square where the number ends in 2? No. So any perfect square will always end in one of these digits. Now you might say that how can I believe this statement only by looking at the squares of the first 10 natural numbers, because there are so many, there are infinite numbers. So it's possible that maybe squares of some number ends in 2 or 3. So how can I trust this? Okay. Now let's consider squares of some bigger numbers, right? So maybe bigger number like 65, you can have bigger number like 329, you can have a bigger number like 1697313. So I have taken some examples of bigger numbers and let's say that you have to square them. Right? So how do we know that when you square this number, because when you square this number, the result that you get is a perfect square. Right? Because that result can be obtained by multiplying a number by itself, because you are multiplying 65 by itself to get that number. So the square of 65 is a perfect square. But how do we know that what is that digit where the square of 65 ends? Now look at any big number. Now all these three numbers, what do they have at their units place? 65 has 5, 329 has 9 and this number has 3. So it doesn't matter what the length of the number is. In its units place, it will have one of the digits from 0 to 9, right? Because it cannot have any other digit. So many numbers which we use in mathematics, they are all formed by combination of these digits 0 to 9. Okay. So what is the possibility? I mean, how can we predict that what would be the digit in the units place of the result? For example, if I ask you to find out the value of 65 square, how will you find it? So you will multiply 65 with 65 and then you will multiply like this, 5 5s are 25. So 2 gets carried forward, 6 5s are 30. So 30 plus 2 is 325. Then you leave this units place, then 6 into 5 is 30. So 3 gets carried forward, 6 6 the 36, 36 plus 3 is 39. And then you add these two, it is 5, 2, 2, this is 1 and this is 4. So this would be the square of 65. Now when you look at the result, what do you see? You have 5 at the units place. So why do you have 5 at the units place? Because the way we multiply two numbers, the units place will always be obtained by multiplying the two units place. So 65, 5 is at the units place. Again this 65, 5 is at the units place. So 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. Right? So when 5 and 5 are multiplied, the result is 25. That is 5 at the units place. Therefore, the result here also has 5 at the units place. So any perfect square will always have one of these numbers, because any perfect square will have whatever it has in the units place. That will decide what digit will be there in the units place of that perfect square. For example, let's look at this one, 329 whole square. So how do you know what will be its value? So it doesn't matter, just focus on the units digit. So the units digit is 9. So the moment you multiply these two numbers, the result, whatever the result may be, this is going to be a very big number, but at the units place, can you tell me what would be the digit? So the units place will be formed by multiplying the units place of the number, that is 329 multiplied by 329. So what do you have in units place? 9. Here also units place 9. So 9 multiplied by 9 gives what? 81. So in the units place you will have 1. Similarly, look at this one. This is also a perfect square. So what do you have at the units place? You have 3. So 3, so when you multiply this number by itself, so 3 of one number gets multiplied to 3 of the other number. So 3 multiplied by 3, therefore when you look at its result, again at the units place you would have 9, because 3 into 3 is 9. So in the units place you would have 9. So see, all of these are examples of perfect squares, because we have taken squares of numbers. So squares of numbers are perfect square. And you see all of these perfect squares, they have one of these numbers. One has 1, this has 5, this has 1, this has 9. And they have one of these numbers. So it is just not possible that a perfect square can have something other than these numbers, because any perfect square will have one of these digits in its units place. So the final result that we get squaring any big number is decided by the units place of both the numbers. Like as I told here, like in 65, 5 decides what would be the units digit in the perfect square. Similarly, here 9 decides what would be the units digit in the final result. So therefore, all perfect squares will have 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9 in its units place. So here I have written a next set of perfect squares. So here also you can tally the same thing, like when you square 11. So 11 has 1 at its units place. So therefore the result would have 1 at the units place. 12 square. So it has 2 at its units place. So 2 into 2 is 4. So this would have 4 at its units place. 13 square. 3 3 is a 9. So 9 at its units place. So just to, kind of show you that yes, this. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.